Evening folks, this is Best in Slot, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. In a twist worthy of M. Night Shyamalan, we are finally back at covering the Prehistoric Kingdom devlogs. I have really no explanation whatsoever as to why we stopped in the first place. I do apologise, but we're back. Big thumbs up, smiley face. Development in the game has continued in earnest despite the whole COVID-19 malarkey. I believe they were mainly working from home anyway. We'll have to see if that does slow down dev at all, but it should be a-okay. Now, before we get started, I will say we're doing the lazy version of this today. Usually I pluck out all the images and the videos and I organise it very nicely into a video. But it's 9:15 and my sleeping is a little bit messed up. I'm already pretty tired. So, we're going to do the lazy version. For any of you who've watched How I Met Your Mother, 10, 15 years ago when the show was bloody relevant, there is a character called Sandy. And Sandy has a news segment in the morning where he sits there and he reads the newspaper. That's what I'm going to do, basically. We're going to read through this devlog, March 2020, and we're just going to comment and discuss along the way. I have not seen the previous few months. We may do like a catch-up video on that, highlighting the most important things. But for now, whilst it's still early in April, let's have a look at March. So, there is much to discuss. Exciting. This feels so unprofessional, it's crazy. Here we go. And instantly answers my first question. So progress is still going well, and the dev is still trying to work on Prehistoric Kingdom. People have been working on optimization, on paths, on water painting and modular building. Lots of solidarity within the code base, a considerable focus for performance at the moment in order to maximize efficiency and code structure. Spoken very much in professional nonsense. Right, so development report. These have changed a little bit since the last time I saw them. They're much less... They're prettier, but I'd say less detailed in general. So we're currently in Pre-Alpha 2. Pre-Alpha 1 we kind of saw a little bit. That's the one we messed around with earlier in the year, I believe. Pre-Alpha 2 is now being developed, and that's going to hopefully let our dinosaurs and our prehistoric creatures in general just be a little bit more detailed in their simulated behaviours. So Fur and Feather Shader has been given a good old love heart, so I assume that's finished. Still working on optimization, modular building, and terraforming, as we saw up there. If we scroll up, can I get rid of this? No. If we scroll a little bit further down, art, we have new concept art for the fences. Animation, must go faster. We have new animal assets, environment assets, and UX design, all still in development. And in audio, we have music experiments being developed, sound design, Foley, which... Correct me if I'm wrong, but Foley is basically producing sounds. You know when people get like a pit of sand or barbed wire or Cheetos or something and they stomp on it with a board or something and they record that noise? I think that's Foley, right? I could be wrong, but I believe it is. And what I keep reading is creature sex over and over again, no matter how many times I look at this page. But also the audio for the dinosaur roars and stuff like that. And also the mooing of a mammoth wouldn't really moo, would it? What would a mammoth do? Bray? Holler? I don't know, we're going to say holler. The holler for the mammoths. Programming. So, this is actually really cool. I did sneak a little peek at this one earlier. And as it mentions just a little bit earlier on, the fur shader has been developed. The in-game rendering of fur and fluffy feathers. Now remember, we did get a new dinosaur skin shader not that long, well, okay, like a few months ago now, but the fur was apparently lacking. So Seth spent a few days in March creating a highly flexible, custom-built fur shader for our animals. And as you can see, can we open this in a new tab? Is that cheeky? Look at that beauty. So professional. It really does make a humongous difference. It goes from a flat but textured animal to an actually fur. It is the difference between a flat animal and a furry animal. It's as simple as that. It looked like it had fur, but it was matted down, and you could tell it was sort of drawn on, essentially. Now it looks like it actually has real, actual fur. That is a humongous step in the right direction. Good job, Seth, in March. We get another pic of that. Yeah, we get to see it in motion a little bit there. Can we get a little bigger? No. There you go. You can just see it move a little bit with the mammoth as well. It seems to move very naturally with the musculature underneath it. It's very cool. It's very cool. I remember when this got applied to Zoo Tycoon 2 of all games, it actually made a huge difference there as well. Looks even better. The fur moves in the wind. Ladies and gentlemen, alert your friends. That is a beautiful creature right there. Look at him, cheeky little blighter. The fur looks great. That is honestly a humongous step in the right direction. Aesthetically, that's going to do so much for our non-dinosaur animals. Or furry animals, furry dinosaurs, if people are feeling it. Anyways, this new geometry-based shading is already seamlessly integrated into our existing animal technology, offering great visual fidelity alongside fantastic optimization. They're very what's the word? It's very corporate speak in some ways. Fantastic optimization techniques to bloody, I can't speak English, to help keep frame rates high for lower end hardware. Will add quality options outright disable for just in case. I mean, look at that little crew, that little furry crew there. That is beautiful. It looks really, really good. It honestly makes such a humongous difference. And it can be used really subtly, as we see up here. But then we've got our big giant sloth. And he's furry as anything. And he's my favourite thing in the world. And I want his terrifying, terrifying babies. And it even works, as I said, it's not just fur. It is also feathers as well. The fur, feathers in this case, looks less randomised. There's more direction and fluidity to it. It's all sort of pressing backwards away from the skull, as you would imagine most fur. Well, most feathers, I should say, bloody Nora, tends to do. Looks really cool. Yeah. Not if you're not into your feathery dinosaurs, but if you're not into your feathery dinosaurs, this probably isn't the game for you. Then again, there's so many animals, you could just ignore them anyway. Modular building system. Mao continued work on the modular building system in March, bringing a lot of its most necessary functions to completion. As described in prior development updates, players can select multiple wall or roof pieces and change their texture to a unified colour or material. This feature is a game changer for the creative builders out there, as it allows for rapid experimentation with various design combinations. Let's take a look, in my professional way, at their YouTube video. I'll have to keep the small screen. Okay, okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, you really do get a lot of customization, don't you? This is going to let us get really creative. That's awesome. I love it. Oh no. I can't handle having another game that lets me be creative, sort of like Planet Zoo does, because I already have to put so many bloody hours into Planet Zoo. Yeah, there you go. There's a good sign of the kind of things I've been watching lately. It's a lot of Hearthstone. Let's put it that way. Anyways. I don't know what that's all. Yeah, it looks really good. Being able to customize individual bits with different textures, different colors. You can seemingly properly change every individual aspect of the building with this modular. Well, that's what a modular system does, right? That's the whole point. Very cool. They've been finishing up nothing. We won't talk about that. Game optimization and water painting status. Another issue we've targeted over the past month has been performance and general optimization, with Seth helping out. Who is this Seth? He comes up a lot. Who are you, Seth? We're working on getting large FPS improvements across the board, searching for potentially troublesome areas under the hood that could use some code reworking or adjustments to speed up processing. Part of this optimization process has been cleaning up the back-end side of terraforming to make way for water painting, since terrain editing has some existing APIs already built into the engine. Part of our challenge is keeping those components performant, amazing word, whilst integrating our own methods within that. Now that we have an extra programmer, that's what Seth is, to handle things like this, Matt and Mao are able to continue working on other parts of this project. Stay tuned for more water painting news, which, if we're honest, is what we're all here for. So, species spotlight, bingo bango, that is our Paraceratherium, which we saw a little bit early on. Only 3 to go. Wow. So next month's devlog, we'll be back in a month. We will be back in a month. It's going to be the last one with a species spotlight. That's crazy. Huh. There you go. There's a nice close-up of the Paraceratherium. Of course, they're working through Paraceratherium. There you go. We're working through all the 5-star creatures now. High security recommendations. So even though I think you'd generally imagine he's a fairly docile herbivore, just through sheer size alone, he's going to require fairly hefty security. Not much privacy, because he's way up there in the sky anyway. Nobody, he doesn't see anyone. He's chill. Not much water, because he's from a dry climate in Mongolia. You wouldn't imagine much need for water density. And a social group of up to 8. I imagine a herd of 8 of these would actually look fairly incredible. And as always, we've got some pretty cool skins down there. We also have Stegosaurus, odd choice for 5 stars. Well, it's a very classic dinosaur, I guess. It's one of the quintessential dinosaurs. I'm still very annoyed about Utyrannus and its shockingly low rating. Did it get 2 stars, was it? I can't remember. Anyways, it should be a 5-star dinosaur. Anywho, Stegosaurus stenops. Again, tropical dry, just like the Paraceratherium. I'm not going to get this off the top of my head, am I? It's too late. Paraceratherium. There we go. Bloody no. Paraceratherium. Just like that, but instead of Mongolia, it is of course from the Morrison Formation in the USA. Requires a little bit more in the foliage and a little bit more in the water. Has much higher privacy recommendations. That makes sense. You'd imagine Stegosaurus to be a fairly shy animal in general, but because of that has slightly lower security recommendations as well. And it is beautiful. I love the colouring and the design work on these plates. They're also very, very jagged. I see a lot of Stegosaurus plates where the plates are rendered in quite a somewhat soft shape, and I think again that comes from Jurassic Park. You know, you look at the Jurassic World Evolution variant and it is quite rounded at the top. These are proper hard plates. Now it's not like they would have been used for weaponry. Again, we think Stegosaurus plates were probably used for cooling down the dinosaur more than anything else, but still, maybe being sharp helps them do that. That's science. Sierra is an awesome looking skin. I think that's the one we've already got. Is that the one? Yeah, that's the one we've already got. Creek bed, nice and chill brown, but woodland is really cool as well. Really like that colour combination. Browns and greens and whites. It's an easy go-to for dinosaurs, but it basically always looks good. Well done, Stegosaurus. Well done. Right, on we go. Oh yeah, this fit just looks really well made. I wonder sometimes how long has been spent doing this, these monthly updates, but I imagine a lot of the artwork we see and stuff like that is concept art that was built to help design these features in the first place. So, this should be cool. For the past few months, a small part of the team's been at work reorganising and cleaning up certain gameplay systems that felt bloated or messy just like me, making areas of the game far cleaner as a result. From a visual standpoint, we noticed that our fence designs came across as inconsistent in how they scale against both security rating and the park's aesthetic. Each fence material set now has 3 distinct height variants to work better with gameplay progression. Right, so wood, stone and glass will now come in those 3 heights, and if you really want to go heavy into the defensive side of your fencing, you use metal, and that can go all the way up to 6 meters. By putting more emphasis into materials, we're able to squish security requirements and incorporate height as a reliable condition now that there's consistency. With fewer fence assets to produce, we're allowing players to recolor their fences from up to 3 presets per material type. So there's 4 materials, 3 presets per material type, 12 different colours of fences. So that's 1 meters, and that's the wood one there, as we can see. Goes up to 2.5. Is that the metal one? Yeah, modern metal fence 2.5. Modern concrete fence, so that goes up to 4 as well. Oh no, it could be guys being stone, wouldn't it? I love this design. It's very cool. She's loving it as well. She's having the time of her life. Modern glass vents, very cool. So even because that looks like a metal one, clearly. So even though. So it seems fences are going to be set high. You're not going to be able to drag and rescale your fences up and down. If you think about Planet Zoo, for example, you can resize your fences completely. It seems there is some struggle correlating that with the security requirements for the dinosaurs, which I guess makes sense, because if you think about it, it actually is a problem in Planet Zoo as well. Certain animals will have certain requirements in terms of fence height. Let's say a Velociraptor needs a 2.5 meter high fence to stop it jumping out, for example. And you've built your fence around, and it's whatever this height is, you've dragged it up to 2.5 meters, but then there's a slight dip in the ground, or there's a slight raise in the ground. That actually causes a lot of problems in Planet Zoo. You have to go around and resize each individual piece of fence sometimes to rig it so that your animals can't escape. This way offers slightly less creativity in terms of fence height, I guess, but as they've said, it's allowing them to also make a more modular fence system where we're going to be recoloring individual parts and redesigning individual parts. And also, it should take away that problem that I just described that Planet Zoo has. So this seems like a pretty good compromise. And I love this. I love her more than anything. Or him. I don't know. I thought that was a skirt, but there's a little gap, so it could be short. It's not that. It could be a woman wearing shorts, but there's no hair there, but it could be a woman with short hair wearing shorts. I don't know who that is, okay? I don't know who that is, but they're very excited about the raptor. In this case, about to eat their face. Moving on. Taking things a step further, gates will now follow a homogenized style in order to fit with the unified height measurements across fencing. Please do let me know, by the way, if I'm misinterpreting what's going on here. This change reduces the workload for future editions and means we can create the assets at a much higher quality. So again, the same idea. The gates are always going to be sort of the same size, right? Well, I assume there'll be a 2.5 meter high. Maybe there's only. If I had to imagine, 1 meter seems very, very low for a gate, so maybe there won't be a gate. So basically, the gate will always be 2.5 meters, and it'll fit within the fencing system. So if you put the 2.5 meter high gate into a 4 meter high wall, maybe it would just have a little bit of concrete above it, and if it was 1 meter, it would stick up a little bit. And the idea behind that, as they can see, is again fixes the problem I mentioned earlier, but also means future gates don't have to scale, essentially. They can just fit into any fence, no matter what. They just build the gate at the exact same size each time, and it'll always fit. Right? Right. Yeah, I imagine it says make the assets of high quality. I imagine not having to make them scale up with the fence itself, which could be any size. You know, if it went from 1 meter to 5 in 0.01 increments or something, that would be quite hard to do. But now, you know, it's got a nice little method around that. That's so cool. I want to play the game. Why is it not out yet? What's going on? Moving on. At launch, fences and amenities will be listed under the modern theme, a unified style that defines Prehistoric Kingdom as a brand in-universe. Because of this, you'll be seeing improvements to various structure designs in the coming months. Since the art team are handling these changes, it won't be affecting the progress of the game as a whole. No need to worry about scheduling conflicts. So it seems the fence system has basically been redone entirely, and a lot of the fence assets we've seen in the past are probably getting scrapped, if I had to guess, or at least repurposed at the very least. We're going to get all these modern ones at the start, so that's modern wood, modern metal, modern concrete, modern glass, on all these various heights, and then basically, again, not to harken on this too much, but if you think back to Planet Zoo, it has themes. Maybe Prehistoric Kingdom's only going to launch with modern for its fencing, and also some of the buildings may be redesigned slightly to fit better with that theme, and then maybe post-release we get another theme coming out with a bunch of fences and a bunch of buildings fitting that theme, or something like that. Moving on. Animation. Wielding spiked thumbs, Iguanodon was a bulky ornithopod found in the United Kingdom. Represent. Its enormous hands and stout hind limbs, just like me, make this herbivore a highly adaptive creature, switching between quadrupedal and bipedal locomotion when running. Look at him go. So we have the run cycle. I love this multiple little booty shake there. Multiple view. It looks really good. I love the skin as well, actually. So that's him walking. He's chilling. You know, he's outside. He's looking at a pigeon, and then the pigeon starts to come for him. He must run. And then, the bipedal run cycle. What I'd be curious about then is if there is a specific trigger. You've got to imagine the quadrupedal run cycle is easier on... So what would trigger the difference between the quadrupedal run cycle and the bipedal run cycle? Is there a specific reason? Will it just fluctuate between them as necessary? Is one faster than the other? So let's say it's running for food, it would use one, and if it's running from a predator, it would use the other. That's not addressed here. I'd be very curious about that. Who knows? Also known as a woolly rhino, Coelodonta is a distant relative to the Sumatran rhinoceros. This fluffy animal occupied most of Europe, grazing within a variety of climates such as tundras and grasslands. And again, we have the walk cycle, chilling, looking at a pigeon, and then, oh god, oh no, that pigeon. It's a bit of a shame that the Coelodonta doesn't have a bipedal walk animation. That would have been great, but what are you going to do? Audio, featuring uniquely deep booms and ruckles. The Allosaurus ruckles is such a good... Honestly, whoever wrote this has a fantastic vocabulary, and I deeply appreciate it. The Allosaurus is one Jurassic predator you don't want to meet. With a fearsome snarl and an even worse bite, Byron made sure to give this dinosaur some serious ferocity. It sounds like a documentary or something. Fragilis maximus europaeus, so we've got the 3 subspecies, and we'll listen to some Allosaurus, why not? No word of a lie, literal chills, like the hair on the back of my neck has stood up just a little bit, and I have an exceptionally hairy neck. That sounded incredible, and it wasn't just the Allosaurus itself, which did sound amazing, but just the wind and the rain and the lightning, the thunder I should say, the entire effect, and listening to that with like surround sound headset on, well, it's closest a headset ever gets to emulating surround sound, felt very, very immersive. If the game experience can sound anything like that, that is going to be very, very cool. Very, very cool. I'm down for that. I think dinosaur games in particular, and I think it's one area they actually falter a lot. I would say even Evolution doesn't do this particularly well. The ambient noise is so important. These worlds should feel alive and dangerous constantly, and that sounded pretty alive and dangerous. Plus, it sounded cool as well. And we'll showcase, having previously been one of the oldest models in the game, Stegosaurus received a well-deserved update. There it is, looking beautiful. We've already seen the Stegosaurus, of course. On a less drastic level, some small tweaks were made to the Paraceratherium, they're doing this on purpose, to address some texture, anatomy and shape issues. Prehensile lips were added in addition to better limbs and skull shape, with both the sculpt and skins receiving a quality improvement. I've already seen them, but there you go, nice glimpse there at the immense quality, and there's our Stego, of the model, and we actually get to see the Stego again as well, with all his various colourings. Oh my god, he's a bipedal Stegosaurus. I love him. Him. It sounds weird, right? The only way I know between these two symbols is that one kind of looks like it has a penis. It's jutting upwards at a very weird angle from the top of its skull, but that's how I know the difference between the male and female symbols. Because I'm a child, apparently. Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it? It really does. I still love this skin the most. This, the woodland skin, I believe it was. It looks great, and it's got the... Okay, so we think the Stegosaurus plates may well have been used maybe for cooling or something like that, but if you look at them like this, with this sort of design, it very much looks like, say, a moth would have, or a modern smaller creature that has these kind of eye-shape designs in order to scare away predators. So, you know, maybe it was serving a dual function. I love that. Look at him. Anyways, moving on. I don't have anything to add to that. Just look at him. And there's oh, okay. Oh, sweet. We get to actually see. I should have looked at this first, really. Get to see a bit of comparison there. Unfortunately, my program is... You don't get to see the top of their heads. So the ear, which you can't see, has been made much thinner. The skull shape just appears to have a lot more definition. This guy on the left is adorable. He looks very happy, but a little bit gormless as well. The right's got more definition and sort of shape to it. The musculature of the neck is far more pronounced. The hair's been removed along the spine. The tail looks curvier. It was very kinky there. Not in a good way. And again, just generally across the entire body, you would say the musculature seems much more pronounced. It looks more realistic. It looks like a real animal. You can see the underlying muscle, the underlying fat and stuff like that. And we can do the same with our Stegosaurus over here. And that one I can show... Oh my god. Right, so what have we got different? Again, same sort of deal with the musculature. You can definitely see the difference in the neck and particularly around the stomach. Not necessarily musculature, but like the skin and the fat folding around and such. Especially with the tail there, you can see that ridge there, the musculature. If I say musculature one more bloody time with the Stego, it's a nice solid improvement. And the texturing and the skin work is way better on this one on the right as well. Not that the one on the left isn't absolutely lovely, if the designer happens to be watching this video, but the right is definitely an improvement. They both look a little terrifying in this state. I don't know what it is about the Stego like this. It looks too quick. I always imagine the Stego is a very lumbering dinosaur because of its walnut brain, but there you go. And we'll take a quick look at the community spotlight. We usually don't do this, but this lets us do this. There's the fur guy looking furry. All the furries together. Gonna move on from that one. And that is a beautiful looking Lambeosaurus? Question mark? Oh god, sometimes I feel stupid. It's something. It's a dinosaur. Can we go with that? It's a beautifully rendered dinosaur. I googled it, and I'm pretty sure it's a Lambeosaurus, so I feel good about myself now. Right then, thank you so much for joining me. I know this isn't the most professional way of doing a video we've ever done. Hopefully people don't mind. I really enjoy looking for this. It feels a little bit more communal like this. It also doesn't take me 4 bloody hours to make the video. We may just do this going forward, honestly. We may just have a chill little video where we take a look through the devlogs and discuss them along the way. It's fun like that. It's like my first, because I'm kind of reacting to everything for the first time. I don't look at these before I showed them to you, because that way I get to react naturally as well to the content. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm easy either way, but this is easier for me. Yeah, and big shout out to the PK devs. They've been doing some amazing work. Everything looks brilliant. I cannot wait to finally get this game in our hands properly, but hopefully we get hold of the pre-alpha 2 at some point in, say, the midpoint, before like the end of summer or something like that. Good things come to those who wait. It is a smaller dev team, of course, but there's a lot of amazing work being done here in the realistic sort of departments, and in the modular building looks amazing. The sound design's phenomenal. It's all amazing stuff. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for joining me. Apologies that I had a little delay here for November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months. Jesus. But I promise we'll try to do better at this. I'm feeling reinvigorated with things. It's been a hard few months, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be covering that in a future video, I'm sure, but it's made it very difficult to just do anything of the, typical hop on and record Jurassic World Evolution for half an hour or Planet Zoo for a little bit, and I really want to fight against that. So even though this was lazy in a lot of ways, at least it was something different, and I really enjoyed it, and hope you did too. Thank you for joining me. I will link this down below if you want to read it for yourselves. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.